Spectacular views, which were just unbelievable. In the afternoon, I went with Timba, where we actually saw rhino after rhino and more rhino. However, I do have a little story to tell you all. I think a lot of people here know it already, but since we're telling stories tonight, why don't I tell one? As I was on bushwalk this afternoon, gracefully and elegantly on my tippy toes, weaving my way through the grass, I realized that there was something sticky on my hand. Now, I am a very smell person. We limit ourselves by thinking that we have 5 senses. We have way more senses than 5. However, I am very tuned to my sense of smell. So instinctively, I put my finger to my nose to see what that smell was, only to realize I had put my hand in hyena anal paste. It was delightful. James came to my rescue with sanitizer, someone else came to my rescue with lens cleaner, and we controlled the situation. However, the smell is still there. It's delightful. If anyone wants a whiff, you're welcome to come up to me later. And for all of you watching at home, sadly, I cannot let you smell that, but I can just describe it as wonderful. I don't know how long it will stay in my hands, so there's my little story. But it wasn't just bushwalk, we also had some wonderful game drives as well. So I'm going to invite someone up here to talk with me who can tell you a little bit more about that. Welcome, Mr. Alan Yeowart. How are you?
Fine, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Do you want to smile? This is going to go on and on. So, Alan, can you please tell everyone,
You should shower more regularly.
Yeah, I will, don't worry. Especially those viewers at home, what is a guided game drive?
Not what does a hyena's anal pasting smell like?
No.
What is a guided game drive?
What does it involve?
What does it involve? Okay, so I think it involves interacting with the people on the back of your vehicle, understanding what their needs are, and trying by paying attention to what those are, but essentially using things which are unchoreographed, which are natural elements, to try and sort of match or meet those expectations, which is sometimes easy, sometimes a little bit more challenging.
Very challenging,
Yeah,
I would think.
can be.
Gotta go with the flow.
Yeah, if it was easy, everyone could do it.
True, true. Very good point.
Yeah.
So, Alan, what makes an exceptional game drive?
I think an exceptional game drive is when the people that you're giving it to are enjoying it as much as you are. So it's not about the animals you see or the birds you see or the trees you see. It's about being able to deliver and enjoy the appreciation of the people that you're delivering it to. And yeah, I mean, exceptional experiences can be enjoying the tiniest little insect doing something interesting that you've never seen before. It could be like a big mammalian interaction, lions killing a buffalo, for example. It's
True.
There's nothing that can sort of say exactly what's exceptional. I think it's in the eye of the beholder.
Agreed.
Yeah.
When I did Safari Guide of the Year with you in 2021, the best game drive, still one of the best game drives that I've ever been on today, we didn't see one single animal. It was incredible. It was just the guide using all his skill and his knowledge to just really make you feel things around you, even although you were not seeing any heartbeats.
Good.
So my last question,
In the eye of the beholder.
how has your experience been so far in this year's competition?
That's been wonderful. I'm embarrassed to say it's only my second visit to this beautiful region, and it's got so much variety, so much which is unfamiliar, which I think makes it that much more enjoyable. It sharpens your senses. It makes you look a little bit more carefully, and I think for a lot of the contestants here, that's very much the case as well. But it's not a disadvantage at all. A lot of its safari delivery is about your own energy, about your own curiosity, and how you respond to not knowing things. So it's not knowing things is kind of a small portion of enjoying a safari. It's trying to work things out in the best possible way that you can make sense of a very complicated environment. And yeah, it doesn't have to all be accurate. It can just be your thoughts based on your prior experiences, based on the stuff that you've seen before. So yeah, I've loved this visit, and I'm looking very forward to the next few days. It's going so quickly, but yeah, I think it's magnificent.
Thank you. That's great advice for all our finalists there, I think, what you just said there. Thank you so much, Alan.
Thanks, sir.
It's interesting that Alan should mention the senses because I am utterly fascinated by them. But there is something that I just wanted to read to you tonight. I'm getting old, so I can't remember it off by heart. But it's a quote. And it's not one of my favorite ones, but it is by one of my favorite authors who I am utterly fascinated by. And it says, "It tells us that all is not as it seems, and that everything we experience is but a filtered version of everything we could experience." Now, all of us right now, whether we're sitting here around the fire or at home, you're all watching me, unfortunately, but you're not all having the same experience. Similar, yes. The same, no. You're all perceiving things slightly different using your own sensory apparatus. Now, why am I mentioning this to you guys? Well, we are sat here for storytelling. And for me, the art of storytelling is about allowing other people into your little slice of reality. You are telling a story that belongs to you, and you're sharing it with people to open up that little slice of your reality, letting people know what you felt in that moment, what you heard in that moment, smelt, see. And it might not be entirely accurate. That might be not what happened in the real reality, but it's your reality, and that's what matters. So on that note, we are going to introduce someone whose reality we are going to be introduced to tonight, and that is Mr. Phillip Wessels from Cheetah Ridge.
Good evening, all. And just a heartfelt thank you to all the judges, to Mondoro, to FGASA and Spray Guide of the Year for allowing us to be here. So the beginning of my story this evening, I would like to start with a little short poem that I'm going to read to you that was written by a Nobel Prize winner in 1971, known as Pablo Neruda. I'm just going to read a part of the poem to you, and just to start the bit of my story. The name of the poem is Dying Slowly. You start dying slowly if you do not travel, if you do not read, if you do not listen to the sounds of life, if you do not appreciate yourself. You start dying slowly when you kill your self-esteem, when you do not let others help you, if you become a slave of your habits, walking every day in the same paths, if you change not your routine, if you do not wear different colors, or you do not speak to those you don't know. And that's where I'll stop this poem. And that's where my story starts. By helping somebody many years ago, going back 26 years ago, I was driving on the way back to the farm, saw a vehicle that was broken down next to the road. Little did I know that I was stopping next to Lee Guttridge, the guy that opened my career into the bush for me. A phone call later, the Monday morning, I was on a game reserve where I had the fortunate experiences of meeting people like Scott Viturius, Roger Fussell, Mark Stravakis, people that would change my lives and put me into contact with people that I look up to today that had such an impact on my life and that changed my life because I stopped to help somebody and I asked a question. They made such a change in my life. From me being one of the rowdiest people out there, going out stealing stuffed lions from a wildlife service centre, packing them outside, waiting for the chefs to walk down 4 o'clock in the morning, jumping out and scaring them, chefs passing out, not knowing anybody actually knew about it except myself, being called into an office and saying, listen, what's going on here on this screen? And I thought back then the Roberts Bird game just came out on the big computer screens. And Flippy, can you tell me what's going on here? Little did I know that there were. And all of a sudden I'm caught on camera with 2 lions under my arms that I'm running back to because I know there's going to be trouble this evening. So, and I won't mention the guide's name that was there with me for certain purposes this evening. But yes, that led to meeting one person and helping a person. Led me to taking my wife, which I didn't know. On her 19th birthday, I took her out on a game drive, and I didn't know she was going to be my wife. And how one thing led to another and led to another, which put me to a point where I now have these experiences, these stories that I can share with people. But my biggest thing that I want to bring to this is how back in the day I found it quite frustrating doing game drives with kids. And in recent years, one of the most special memories that I take away, there's 2 that literally hop out to me right now. I had a lady with Alzheimer's quite recently on my vehicle. And every single day, we went out for 4 consecutive days and the same questions came up and the same stories were being told. But I made a difference in somebody's life by doing that, by sharing that again. I was telling a story to a young boy about the ghost in the darkness, the man-eaters of Tsavo. And 3 weeks later, I get this little picture of this young boy standing in Chicago, Illinois at the Natural Museum with a picture of these horrible lions behind him. But I made a difference in his life. And that's what I hope to bring from this as well, is that we as guides need to realize that we have an impact. We can change people's lives. And a story that stands out, and it will stand out to me for many, many more years, will be I was doing a game drive, single lady on the back of the vehicle, 2 other couples in the vehicle with me. Off we went on drive. This lady sat on her own in the back of the vehicle. First afternoon game drive, very uncomfortable, everybody interacting, and I actually asked her to move to the front of the vehicle. Started asking some questions, and I said, "You're here all on your own," and the story started. She got married 2 weeks before that. And her husband could not afford to pay for both of them to go on safari. It was her life's dream to go on a safari. And I had that opportunity to share in that, to make her dreams come true. And many years later, both of them managed to come on a safari together, where I was requested to take both of them out on the safari. And that little pivotal role that I managed to play in somebody's life to change their experience that they had. And that is how, by just caring for people, asking questions, stopping and getting to know people, plays such a vital role. And so many of you sitting here this evening, and especially the judges, with feedback that we are getting, you are playing that same role as we as guides, and I hope the young, new, up-and-coming generation listens to this as well. You have the power to make or break a stay. The judges, the feedback that you give us, such great feedback that we can take and we can share that with groups of guides. There's a bunch of young guides watching right now, my team, Cheetah Ridge family, and I know what I've learned from here I can take back to Cheetah Ridge right now, and I can go and share that with them. And I hope that you all enjoyed this story, and thank you again for this opportunity. God bless you all. Have a lucky evening. Cheers, bye.
Thank you, Philip. That was beautiful. Very personal, and I think we all got a little slice into your reality.
Thank you very much.
So that is 3 of our finalists down. 2 more to go. HJ and Ashley still have to tell their stories. So that means that yes, we will be live again tomorrow at the same time. So please do join us. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here with us. So for now, take care and good night.